Baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors, and we are outdoors at the brand new Craft and Draft on the Lowe's level at Kauffman Stadium as the Royals go for the series in Game 2 with the Cleveland Indians. And there we are from 1973 until 2008. This was the state-of-the-art stadium club, which was enclosed. It was inside the glass. In 2009, they began to renovate this area. Now it's completely open. It's the hottest new place at Kauffman Stadium, and that's where we're going to spend the night.
I can't wait. You know we're going to have a good game on the field, Rhino, but something tells me we're going to have a good time up here, too.
And as much fun as we're going to have up here broadcasting the game, it will be a lot more fun if Danny Duffy pitches tonight like he did last time out against the Tigers.
Yes, you know, Danny Duffy's pitching extremely well this year, especially here at the K. But what's impressed me and Dave Island, his pitching coach, is how calm he's doing it, how under control Danny Duffy is. No longer is Duffy breathing hard out there and overthrowing. He's pitching to contact and really hitting his spots, and that calmness, he's been able to pitch the defense, has been one of the reasons why Duffy is a guy here in the American League.
Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard, and Danny tied a career high with those 7 innings, 7 strikeouts, only 2 walks, the most strikeouts since August of last year at Arizona. So the Royals are hoping for the same today against a struggling offense, the Cleveland Indians. Good news for the Royals, Lorenzo Cain is back, Greg Holland is back, and the Royals continue to thrive with all the disabled list and suspensions, and Joel and Monty will talk more about that when we come back.
Very young, a 20-year-old Eric Hosmer. The town was abuzz. He showed us that future Gold Glove ability. Ended up going over 2 with 2 walks, but that right there, the beginning of the career of now the Royals cleanup hitter. Welcome back to Kauffman Stadium. Joel Goldberg, Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery, and the Royals feel, Monty, like they're starting to get the pieces back together. Lorenzo Cain back off of the suspension. Alcides Escobar could be back as soon as tomorrow. Alex Rios coming back in a couple of weeks, and Greg Holland returns too. And from a pitching standpoint, they lose their all-star closer for a couple of weeks. They haven't missed a beat.
And just a real tribute to the depth that this team has really established and built over the last couple of years. I was looking for a word for this team earlier in the season when they were having all those brawls. I was thinking, are they going to be the rumbling Royals? But now I'm going to say they're the resilient Royals, because they've found a way to cover anyone's absence in a very, very formidable way. With
tall guys, short guys, veteran guys, young guys, that right there is a picture of the Royals bullpen. And while Greg Holland was out, that bullpen had a 1.12 ERA. It is the Royals and the Indians, the second of three here at Kauffman Stadium. Ryan and Rex from Craft and Draft coming up next.
Call 1-800-PIC-ATT. By your Kansas City Chevy dealers. Visit your Chevy dealer today for great prices on all the new 2015 vehicles. And by the Missouri Lottery. Every ticket you play gives back to schools across Missouri. So play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. Rainy afternoon. Turns out to be a very pleasant evening. The mostly royal blue sky up above. And the Royals getting a big lift with Lorenzo Cain back in the lineup, Greg Holland back in the bullpen. And if they win today, it's another series victory for the Royals after taking game one from the Indians last night. And here's the Indians batting order as they will try and figure out Danny Duffy. The Cleveland Indians had just 4 hits last night in the Royals 5-3 victory. And now Kia puts us in the driver's seat, and that pretty well describes where Danny Duffy was against the Tigers.
That's right. And Danny Duffy, he knows exactly what to do to execute those pitches. Establish the fastball, work in the secondary stuff. However, Ned Yost, he juggled the rotation around to have 2 lefties face Cleveland in this beginning of this series because they're just 2-9 versus left-handed starters. So why not? You got Vargas last night, and you get Duffy tonight. Solid contributor.
Jason Kipnis coming to the plate very carefully. As we just showed you how good Danny Duffy has been in his last 3 starts against Cleveland. His ERA is 0.46, and Kipnis is just 2 for 13 against Danny Duffy. So back-to-back lefties, but a completely different lefty tonight from last night.
Absolutely. had the finesse lefty in Vargas, the man who hits the spots and changes speeds. Duffy's got to do the same thing, except he will rely on his fastball a lot more than Vargas. Because when it's 95 to 96 like Duffy has, he averages around 93, but that's his max. He can get away with mistakes over the middle a little bit easier.
And Kipnis, with very little success against Duffy in the past, doesn't want to fall behind in the count, so he swings at the first 2 pitches, and he's behind in the count.
Getting ahead, that's key. Now we'll see what Duffy decides to do. Of course, you follow Salvador Perez's lead, and you can do no wrong.
That's hit well into right field, and Dyson will watch it sail into the screen, and then Dyson loses his footing. Kipnis will stop at second base with a game-opening double on an 0-2 pitch.
Yep. Well, I just got through saying you can do no wrong unless you leave a cookie out over the middle. 0-2. That's really kind of a pitch you want to get him to swing off the plate. But it's down and in. You can see how far he missed. And a hitter like Kipnis, who's going to be defensive with 2 strikes on him, didn't miss that one.
Yeah, it's an interesting spot because I think most of the time you'd say, well, that's a good location. You know, it's down, but down and into a left-hand batter is different.
It is. And it's a spot where most guys aren't going to miss. So 1 mistake early for Duffy, and they didn't miss it.
Carlos Santana was hitless last night, but he walked in the first inning in front of Michael Brantley's home run. And he comes out swinging. Kane up with it in center field. Kipnis is going to be waved home. He is out. You think maybe they did that because Kane had missed the last 3 days?
Yeah, but you know, they picked the wrong time. I can tell you that they did want to get on the board early, that's for sure. But Lorenzo Cain had a good head of steam coming in, stayed on top, a perfect throw to home. Salvy's able to get the tag on Kipnis. Way to excite the crowd early. We know defense is a big part of this game, but right away, got to be demoralizing, especially if they can't score in this inning. What a throw. Salvador gave Kipnis plenty of room to slide on. He didn't block the plate. He didn't get in there and cause any replay for Francona. Defensive play. Jim early again in this game.
And Lorenzo came into tonight's game second in the major leagues with 8 defensive runs saved. Only Andrelton Simmons, a flashy shortstop for the Braves, is better in that statistic than Lorenzo Cain. And right out of the chute after the 2-game suspension and having not played in 3 days, he guns down Kipnis. And now Brantley, and Brantley hit the 2-run home run in the first inning last night off of Vargas, and those were the only runs Vargas allowed. Royals as a team far and away the leaders in defensive runs saved, and now our Toyota League leaders. Lorenzo Cain, the best in that category in the American League, and only 1 run behind Simmons of the Braves.
Well, as active as Lorenzo Cain is, as much as the Royals pitchers pitch to contact, especially here at the K, I would imagine he'll end up leading in that category.
Duffy goes with a slide step and is blocked by Salvador Perez.
You know, third base coach Mike Sarbaugh of the Cleveland Indians, you can't blame him at all for that. I mean, he's thinking that's a base hit up the middle. Center fielders don't usually throw guys out. We got a chance to get on the board first. It's got to be a perfect throw, and it was. Can't blame him. Pretty good test for Duffy here. Brantley's had some success off of him through hitting 375, and Brantley's hitting 526 with a runner in scoring position. Their best hitter.
Bounces it off the plate. Hosmer hustles to the bag to get Brantley. 2 down. And Santana goes to third. And a look at the Royals defensively tonight as Ford takes us around the horn. And there's Lorenzo Cain. The Royals were 1-1 in the 2 games that he missed. The final game of the Tiger series and in the first game with the Indians last night.
That's right. And folks, our guys in the truck, our great teammates out there, they have this stuff set before the game. But somehow they knew Lorenzo Cain was going to save another run.
And now Ryan Rayburn with a runner at third and 2 down. All of Rayburn's work this year, -5 at bats, have come against left-hand pitching. So he was in the lineup last night with Jason Vargas on the mound and was 0 for 3.
Oh, great spot right there. That's exactly where Duffy wants to pitch, especially against Rayburn. The reason he's batting 4th for Terry Francona is because he's been raking against the lefties you talked about, Rhino, but also is hitting .364 with a runner in scoring position. He's good. Salvi's want to make sure to say, hey, look, keep the ball down, same thing, but bust him in. Don't give him a cookie out over. Because if Duffy can get one more out, this could be a real demoralizing half inning for Cleveland to start.
(3-0). Left-hand hitting Brandon Moss is on deck.
Well, you know, do you want to challenge him here? 3-0 because he could be swinging. Has decent numbers off of Duffy, or do you just kind of just put him on base with a wide one?
95 over the outside, 3-1. And that hit him on the foot. So Santana comes running down from third, but it's a dead ball. And it will be Brandon Moss with runners at first and third and 2 down.
It's Duffy's first hit batter of the year. Seeing in the stats where it says hit batter, he hasn't hit a batter, but didn't he hit Adam LaRoche?
No, he threw a pitch behind LaRoche.
It's like that little bouncer got a little piece of Salvi's hand too.
So everybody goes to the mound to check on Salvi's right hand.
Tough position back there. They try to keep your hands behind you like Salvi did, but ooh, man, that's not good. That hit him right on the index finger, right on that knuckle there. Same place that Alex Rios got hit. Fortunately, it bounced first, so it did take a little of the steam off of that ball.
So the Indians have a double, a single, and a hit batter, and have not scored. Brandon Moss last night 1 for 4 with a 9th inning single. And the pitch is way outside, and the ball did not give Perez the ricochet that he's looking for, either off the stone wall or the signage panel, and went into the net. So Santana is able to come down from third and score on a wild pitch. And Rayburn moves up to second base.
Duffy's 4th wild pitch on the season. That leads the Royal staff. He missed by a good margin there. Didn't want to do that.
So many times Perez, when a ball gets by him like that, he turns very quickly, anticipating some sort of a ricochet and a play at the plate, but it bounced up into the net. And now 1-1 on Moss. That is the 4th wild pitch thrown by Duffy this year. Big breaking ball, a little bit outside. 2 balls, 1 strike. Every time I see Brandon Moss or I hear about Josh Donaldson with the Blue Jays, I can't help but think about Billy Butler, who thought he'd be hitting in between those 2 guys in Oakland. So the first things that came out of Billy's mouth, I mean, he was sad to be leaving the Royals. He wanted to stay. It just didn't work out. But he would point out, hey, I get to go to a team that got to the wild card, and I get to hit in between Josh Donaldson and Brandon Moss. And before he could finish the sentence, Moss gets traded to Cleveland and Donaldson gets traded to Toronto.
Never know in this game. Had a chance to talk to Moss before this game about his experience here last year, and it was pretty interesting. But with 3-2 here and 2 outs, save it till he comes up again next.
Had him off balance, and the Royals are set up perfect defensively as Infante throws out Moss from shallow right field. Up at Kraft and Draft on the Lowe's level. Royals coming up in the bottom of the 1st, down 1-0. Get Lorenzo Cain back. Alex Gordon continues to lead off as Alcides Escobar is still on the disabled list. Escobar is eligible. We won't say scheduled yet because he has to pass a number of tests, but he is eligible to come back tomorrow. Royals facing right-hander Carlos Carrasco. Carrasco was as good as anybody in the major leagues last year down the final stretch from the middle of August until the end of the year. Alex, just like Jason Kipnis, swinging at the game's first pitch.
They know Carrasco pretty well. Fastball, slider, changeup, curve. He's got all 4 pitches. Hard thrower. Another guy, kind of like Salazar started for Cleveland last night. Look for the fastball. Look him up and try not to miss it. Got a really good slider, mainly fastball slider. He'll mix in a few changeups. and maybe a few curveballs just to kind of keep him honest.
Carrasco is 28 years old. This is his 8th career start against the Royals. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 97 miles an hour from Carrasco.
Averages around 94. Duffy, his average fastball is around 93, but they will top up at 96 and 97. Ooh.
Boy, hard slider at 91 miles an hour. That is nasty.
Not easy there. Look at fastball all the way. It dips right under your bat.
Brett Hayes, who spent parts of the last 2 years with the Royals, gets a start for Carlos Carrasco, with Yan Gomes still on the disabled list.
There's that slider right over the plate, but down. Fooled him.
Changeup for a strike to Mike Moustakas. Into left field, inside the line, and Mike Moustakas digging for 2. He is out. And remember, it was just last night that we played you the replay of an almost identical play involving Ryan Rayburn when he spiked the throw from left field and Moustakas circled the bases, and Rayburn more than made up for that with his throw to second base.
Yeah, he did. Moose off the bat. He's thinking all the way double, but Rayburn kicked it. Thought that might be enough, but then he makes up with it with a great throw and a nice tag by Kipnis. Moose sees the play right in front of him. Couldn't get around the tag. Ooh, man, just tried to. Boy, that was close. See this angle here. Wow, you know, it looked like his right foot might have gotten in there before the tag. Looks like he tagged him on his knee, but
so Lorenzo Cain is back for the first time since Saturday, serving his 2-game suspension following the brawl with the White Sox. No balls, 2 strikes. Kipnis, nice backhand play, and that's the inning. So it's the Indians with their defense helping Carrasco base only 3 in the bottom of the first inning. with the wall. And in our University of Kansas hospital injury report, George Springer being tested for a concussion after an injury last night in a game against the Rangers, their first-round pick in 2011. We saw his big league debut in Houston last year, and violent collision last night.
Even though most of the walls are padded, that's still a shot your body takes, especially from the shoulders up.
Nick Swisher back from the disabled list last night, playing in his first game. 0 for 4 with 2 strikeouts. And he will have trouble with pitches like that, trying to get his timing back out in front of a Danny Duffy changeup.
Very difficult time he's going to have here now, unless he can somehow find a way to get a few hits early and put the ball in play last night. Timing is everything, especially when you miss most of spring training. And he's had several at-bats down in Columbus, their AAA team. Terry Francona said he's ready. He begged Francona to get in there because he feels like his legs are underneath him and he's ready to start the season. So it might take him a little bit of time to get his timing.
2-2. Swisher has had as many as 35 home runs in a big league season, but the last time he did it was 9 years ago. And that's grounded through the hole on the left side. And the Indians have the leadoff man on for a second straight inning. Swisher also has seasons of 29 home runs on a couple of occasions, 24 times twice. Well, who are the 4 players who best represent the history of the Royals? And who are the 4 greatest living Major League Baseball players? Go to MLB.com/franchise4 to cast your ballots. And winners will be revealed during the All-Star Game July 14th on Fox. This will be interesting results in both categories. I remember for many years Joe DiMaggio would always be introduced as baseball's greatest living player, and when he passed away, Ted Williams was introduced as baseball's greatest living player. And I don't know if anyone's had that title since then. I mean, I'm sure, you know, maybe Willie Mays has had that. Hank Aaron, someone has informally introduced them with that title, but I remember those two in particular, everywhere they went, that's how they were introduced.
Yep. They were far and above, better than anybody else at that particular time. There's so many good players nowadays, it'd be hard to do that. I guess if you want a young guy, you know, Trout would probably be somebody like that. Can do a lot. Center fielder, runs, hits for power, average.
Oh, fouled away by Aviles.
I saw Brian Harper, or is it Harper? What's the kid's name in Washington?
Bryce Harper.
Bryce Harper. I saw him hit 2 out of his 3 home runs today. He's a young 23-year-old player that's got a chance to be an all-around player.
Hit 3 of them in first 5 innings, did he?
Yeah, pretty impressive.
What was that? Timeout been called?
Must have been. That's what a hitter does when a guy's trying to steal home, but there's nobody on third base.
I didn't see Aviles, you know, lift his right hand at the home plate umpire Will Little, or didn't look like he was asking for time. He just bolted.
Yeah, I didn't see that either.
So maybe Salvador Perez had asked for time.
Most of the time an umpire will point where whoever asked for the time.
Slide step, extreme slide step, and fouled away by Aviles.
Salvi liked that too. He liked that. He just pointed right out to Duffy and said, "That's what I like." throw the timing off the hitter.
I don't know if there's another team out there, now we don't see the National League teams, that have as many pitchers as the Royals do, and Luke Hochevar's the same. He'll be up soon, who will try to deceive the timing of the hitter. And now Aviles is hit by a pitch, and the Indians have 2 on with nobody out. But Danny Duffy, Yordano Ventura, Jeremy Guthrie, Luke Hochevar will go to either the extreme slide step or change the speed of their windup to try and throw the hitter off.
Little breaking ball picked out a thigh there. Duffy having a little command issues here. Trying to find his game.
That is just behind and above us. We are at Craft and Draft on the Loge level. Brand new spot at Kauffman Stadium on the left field side, and here we are.
Very pleasant out here,
Yeah.
but very nice. Sitting with the people. It's all about the people anyway, Rhino. But look, it's different being out here than being behind home plate. Foul balls, usually I'm flinching because if I'm not looking and a foul ball's coming, because you could get a ball sandwich when you're not looking for one. And down here, you're safe. I don't think anybody's going to hook one foul out here.
But we saw one the other night. Remember, Monty was doing a report up here, and there's a foul ball that came in very close. And I remember many years seeing foul balls out this way hit the windows of the old Stadium Club.
It's great to be out here, buddy. Watching Duffy warm up. Dave Island, the pitching coach, he waved to us when he saw us up here. It's a nice different angle.
1-1 to Lonnie Chisenhall. This was, you know, there were so many ahead of its time features about the Truman Sports Complex. I mean, the 2 stadiums in the same location, the waterfalls at Kauffman Stadium, and then one of them was the old Stadium Club out here. Built in 1973, the Stadium Club through 2008, and this whole area where we are, kind of making your way toward third base, all enclosed by glass. Always a great place to watch the game, but especially during the extremely cold and hot days. Fouled away by Chisenhall, and what's unique about this now is that the glass is gone, and so where we're sitting right now, you're still going to feel the temperatures, but up above us, and we showed you the bar up there and where they're eating, is we're told that it is climate controlled. So how many places are outdoor and climate controlled at the same time?
Not many, but I'm excited about checking out some of their food they got here. Look at that. You know that they've got some good eats.
Are you the first one with the menu, or?
I'm waiting for it.
How about that? We're going to get a personal visit from the executive chef.
Ooh, man, gotta love that. There's a reason I didn't eat dinner tonight. Hello, we're with you tonight.
So you go up there, and that's the tier just above us, and if it's cold or hot, it'll be nice and comfortable, even though you can feel the breeze, feel the outdoors. Now Chisenhall's almost nailed. Duffy having a hard time. It's one thing to just miss inside, but Duffy missed way inside, and Salvador Perez was set up outside.
It's looking to me like he's just not syncing up with his lower half with his upper half. He's getting out in front just a little bit with his lower half, and the upper half kind of drags behind, leaves the ball elevated, and sometimes his shoulder pulls off, and just like with a hitter, pulls off and leaves the ball out of the zone. Mechanics are so important in this game when it comes to pitching and hitting.
And now his breaking ball is high. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 on, nobody out. And of all hitters in the lineup, I'm sure Danny really wants to make Chisenhall put the ball in play. Chisenhall is 0 for 7 with 5 strikeouts against Danny. And he got him to foul it away again. And now the Indians are really working on Duffy's pitch count. His next pitch will be his 40th. In on his hands and hit well to right field and up against the screen. Swisher to the plate. Aviles slams on the brakes at the last moment, and the Royals do a good job of getting it back to the infield and all the way to the plate. So Lonnie Chisenhall with his first ever hit against Danny Duffy, and the Indians have a 2-0 lead in the second inning.
3-2 hitter knows what's coming. Duffy not hitting his spots. That ball's up and into another left-hander.
Is that a bad pitch though?
No, I don't think it was. But Chisenhall is quick inside and it's elevated. I mean, that was off the plate. Ball 4 possibly, but he was ready for it. It wasn't the pitch like he threw Kipnis 0-2 in the first inning. First hitter of the game. Now Aviles is really good. He didn't go home there. He'd have been out.
If you had told me before that pitch was thrown that Danny would put a fastball in that spot, I would have predicted that Chisenhall's bat would have shattered into 17 pieces.
And could have been a little 4-6-3 double play.
The pitch that Brantley hit last night against Vargas, that pitch was in and off the plate.
You know, the way that Chisenhall hit that, you got to give him the credit. He pulled his hands in, he barreled that.
Yeah.
Well, I looked at Dyson from here from where we're sitting, and he just turned and ran. So he got it good.
Second and third and nobody out to Brett Hayes. And Hayes jumps on the first pitch. Kane coming up, and it's going to get by him. Dyson hustles over to back it up. The Indians will get another run as Avila scores. Chisenhall goes to third. A 2-run second inning for the Indians and a 3-0 lead. Still nobody out.
Brett Hayes picks this ball off the ground. Salvi was going to catch it, just hit off the end of the bat. I thought Lorenzo Cain might have a shot at it. He tried to pick it on the short hop. Dyson, nice job of backing him up.
And now Kipnis with 2 runners on and still nobody out. And Kipnis down in the count, 0-2 to open the game, ripped a double to right field and then was thrown out at the plate by Lorenzo Cain. And the Royals are already concerned about Danny Duffy. Brandon Finnegan warms up in the Royals bullpen. And Kipnis there helping out Duffy, chasing a pitch down and out of the strike zone. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Yeah, we haven't seen a starting pitcher struggle like this, and it's not the pitch count, it's the fact that they're pouring runs in on it. So Ned's going, hey, look, I want to keep our guys in the game here, keep our team in there. Although I don't think there's any offensive player by the Royals a little worried this early in the game that they're down 3-0. Ten of the 17 wins the Royals have all been come from behind, so they're not sweating this early, but Duffy's command is a concern.
And a breaking ball is hit to left field, and Alex has to play it on a bounce. That gets another run home. So down in the count, 1-2. Kipnis gets his second hit against Duffy tonight. And the Indians lead 4-0, and still nobody out in the second inning.
Indians are capitalizing on pitches that are a little bit elevated, and you know the Royals They're just going to have to make some adjustments on the mound. Here comes Dave Island. Well, that's what I get from looking at the field from this far down the line here. That's Ned. That's not good.
So he certainly didn't see this coming. Danny, coming off one of his best starts as a big leaguer, is out in the second inning. Brandon Finnegan is a Chevy call to the bullpen. And great season ticket options are still available. You can still secure season tickets in lower level sections like the dugout box or dugout plaza with a prorated half or full season package. Well, make sure you're here for this exciting 2015 season by becoming a season ticket member at Royals.com/season tickets. Now the Royals have been stretching out Brandon Finnegan in the minor leagues to be a starter. He has made 3 appearances with the big league club this year, but it's only covered 4 innings. So I would imagine he's not stretched out to go more than 3 tonight, but we'll see. His task here is just to get the Royals out of the second inning, as the first 5 have reached, 3 have scored, nobody out, and Carlos Santana at the plate.
Good opportunity for Finnegan. That's what you look for. Come out, throw some strikes. Good fastball. He'll go 92. He'll reach 95. Nice slider and a changeup. Hopefully he'll be good to go for at least 50-60 pitches. He'll try to eat up a few innings here. Quickly ahead, 0-2.
And the Royals could go to Chris Young if they really needed to stretch somebody out. He has had 4 days rest, Chris Young has, since the start on Friday against the Tigers. Sometimes, even in a situation like this one, when a manager is making a move in the early innings, if he's going to use a long reliever like Chris Young, he'd like to give him a clean inning.
You're exactly right. Finnegan, he's used to this.
Right over the inside. So Finnegan gets the first out of the inning against the Indians' 6th hitter.
Like that, just coming right out challenging him. Why not? He wants to establish that fastball. That's what you do. Any starter would do that, especially when you have some good giddy up, good stuff. Fastball, slider. That changeup's a field pitch. We'll have to see how he brings that in later. I think he threw one in that at bat to Santana.
It looked like in the first inning that Danny Duffy was going to dodge a bullet. He allowed a double to Kipnis. Santana followed with a single, and Lorenzo Cain threw Kipnis out at the plate, and then Brantley hit a ground ball to Hosmer. So there was a runner at third with 2 down, and it was a wild pitch. They got the Indians' first run to the plate. So some good fortune turned into some bad fortune in the first inning, and then in this inning the first 5 Indians reached.
Yep, they just kept the onslaught on Duffy. Duffy didn't look like he had a lot of confidence with his stuff, and the Indians could feel it. But that nice slider by Finnegan.
Down to second one. Colon to first, double play. So a lot of baseball left tonight, but who knows? We might be looking back on the 2 hitters that Brandon Finnegan faced in the top of the second.
Oh man, nice job. Going to come and take care of it.
Royals Player of the Month at rallyhouse.com, and you'll be entered to win a majestic prize pack from Rally House. rallyhouse.com/Royals. Eric Hosmer on his way this month after a 4 RBI game last night, and that gives him 43 in his career against the Indians. That's the best for him against any team. One and two. And don't forget to vote Hosmer at first base for the American League All-Star team. Royals.com/vote. Now 2 and 2.
Yep, Hosmer's really been good, especially against the Tribe. Sits safely in 12 straight starts with 13 ribbies.
Full count. Carlos Carrasco pitching exclusively out of the stretch. On the ground to Santana, to Carrasco, and that's in time for the first out.
That man right there is hopeful that Carrasco can hold this lead. He knows his team's been struggling against lefties, just going 2-9, but Terry Francona is looking for this young man here to step up and hold the dangerous Royals offense down. He's got the weapons to do it. Fastball, slider, changeup, occasional curves he'll flip up there, but so far he's been keeping the ball down in the zone and using his defense. That was a 3-2 breaking ball to Hosmer, got him to top it.
Kendrys Morales fouls the first pitch away. Told you last inning that Carlos Carrasco was as good as anybody, well, almost anybody, from the middle of August until the end of the regular season. Only Jake Peavy, who had been traded to the Giants, had a lower ERA, and the Indians hoped that that was the Carlos Carrasco that they had been waiting for, and that it would last for the long term, and they signed him to a 4-year contract extension this year in spring training. 1.17 in the last 6 weeks of the regular season.
He's good, and he, along with the 4 other starters, are one of the reasons why the Cleveland Indians were highly thought of at the beginning of the season.
Fouled away by Morales. Kendrys had a very rare hitless game last night. He was 0 for 3. He was hit by a pitch and scored a run on Eric Hosmer's 3-run home run. It was only the 4th game all season where Morales was hitless, and that was the man on the mound last night, Danny Salazar.
Powerful, strong arms.
Two and two.
You know, 26 games, you look up and you see what a difference that the experience the Royals had last year in the playoffs has paid off, and then the addition of Morales. And Morales, man, he's 3rd in runs scored in the American League, 6th in RBIs. He's made a big difference in this offense.
Giving Carrasco a bad time, fouling another pitch away. He's a strike thrower. Very few walks allowed by Carlos Carrasco. And that's the same pitch he got Gordon with to begin the bottom of the 1st inning. A hard slider into a left-hand batter. 2 down in the 2nd inning. And now Salvador Perez. He is our T-Mobile game changer. All the different rankings among catchers. No higher than 3rd in those 5 categories.
Man, I'll tell you what, though. Caught stealing percentage, that's a beautiful thing. He'll take that. So will the pitching staff.
That ball's hit well to right field. Moss fades back and makes a play to end the inning. 3 up, 3 down. We're going to talk about the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum when we come back with President Bob Kendrick. 4-0 Indians as we go to the third inning. We hope you'll join the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum for an historic trip to the Windy City and pay tribute to Ernie Banks when the Royals battle the Cubs at Wrigley Field. The 2-day trip includes tickets to the game on Sunday, May 31st, round-trip luxury bus transportation, continental breakfast, a hotel room, a private dinner, commemorative Monarchs shirt and cap, and more. And the registration deadline is Friday, so coming up in just a couple of days. So call now if you want to reserve your spot. Ryan Rayburn grounds back to Brandon Finnegan, who has now faced 3 hitters and gotten 4 outs. So we told you we'd be visiting with Bob Kendrick, the president of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. Look at you dressed. You know, why should we talk about dressed to the nines with you? I mean, that's every day for you.
You know, particularly when I come see you guys.
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, I let Bob borrow my hat. That is a good looking hat.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Well, you know, we had a lot of fun last year when we had the fedoras,
yes,
which I think went over really well.
Yes.
And in that same theme, but not exactly the same, when we have our salute to the Negro Leagues this year, we're going to get newsboy hats.
Newsboy caps. Kansas City Monarch newsboy caps. First 10,000 fans here on Sunday, May 17th for our annual salute to the Negro Leagues. And so this thing just keeps getting bigger and better. Ryan, I've got to tip my cap to everybody here at the ball club for embracing this celebration. We keep growing it. We keep adding new dimensions to it. And so this whole concept of dress to the nines, and along with the fact that the ball club is wearing the uniforms, and the uniforms are absolutely gorgeous. A great kind of tribute to the late, great Ernie Banks, who spent his 1953 season here with the Kansas City Monarchs before going up to the Chicago Cubs and embarking on his legendary Hall of Fame career. We've added a dimension of the Sunday brunch to this now, and our first ever baseball sermon. Reverend Emmanuel Cleaver II will deliver a short baseball sermonette here at the K on Sunday, May 17th. Of course, U.S. Congressman Emmanuel Cleaver II. And so we just keep adding these dimensions that I think makes our celebration the absolute biggest and best in the country.
Well, it should be a big deal here. I mean, it's a big part of the history of the city, and the Kansas City is a big part of the history of the Negro Leagues, right? I mean, it's a perfect marriage,
so
right?
They're tied, and I think, you know, for us to be able to celebrate the heritage of our sport, with the ball club understanding that the roots of the Negro Leagues began here in Kansas City, and just how great the Kansas City Monarchs were for so consistently long. We're talking about one losing season in an almost nearly 40-year existence in the Negro Leagues, and sending more guys to the major leagues than any other Negro League franchise. So that history is quite significant, and the ball club has certainly embraced that, and the partnership between the Royals and the Negro Leagues Museum just continues to blossom, and I couldn't be more excited about it.
You know, I want to talk about Ernie Banks, and that was a huge loss.
Yes.
Great player, better person.
Yeah.
And yet, because he had such a long major league career, I would imagine that I'm in the same camp as a lot of people that know very little about his Negro Leagues career.
Well, and I think a lot of people, until he passed away, were surprised to learn that he actually played in the Negro Leagues, and that his career, his professional baseball career, began right here in Kansas City. So Kansas City gave America one of its greatest baseball players, gave the city of Chicago its most iconic baseball figure in Ernie Banks. And it's been a difficult year for the city of Chicago. On the south side, we lost the great Minnie Minoso, who also played in the Negro Leagues along with Ernie Banks. So, yeah, it's important that we understand that this happens.
You know, every time we have you on, it's a quick inning. Hey, we'll continue to promote all this. We have 3 great events coming up. And, Bob, always great to see you. We're looking forward to the 17th.
Absolutely. Looking forward to seeing you, man. And good to see you.
Yeah, thanks, Bob. Bob Kendrick, president of the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum. A nonprofit organization in Paola called My Father's House Community Services, opening their first transitional housing project for those who are homeless in Lynn and Miami counties in 2006. They have since expanded services to 4 additional rural counties. Jay Preston, right after we talked about Negro Leagues Baseball Museum with Bob Kendrick. He is sitting in the Buck O'Neil legacy seat at tonight's game, hoping the Royals can get something going against Carlos Carrasco, who has faced the minimum in the first 3 innings. Royals have had 1 runner, and now second time through with Gordon, Moustakas, or rather Infante, Dyson, and Colon. And Infante lines out to the right fielder Moss. Let me take that back. He got a little confused with my scorecard here while I was talking to Bob Kendrick.
It's easy to do, partner.
Gonna flip some of these outs to the other side. So the lower third coming up with Infante, Dyson, and Colon. However, the point is still correct. He has faced the minimum.
It's not easy, especially when we're in a beautiful area, the craft and draft area down here on the line outside with the people, and you know you have company up here. I mean, it's hard to keep your scorebook. It's hard for me to keep it in a regular game.
It's about as easy a ground ball play as you're ever going to get with Gerard Dyson on the base pass. Santana right there at the bag for the second out. So 2 down, and now Christian Colon. He is our most trusted player, brought to you by the most trusted brand, Honda. He's done a great job filling in at shortstop with Alcides Escobar out.
1 through 25 men on Ned's roster. They are all contributing. I mean, this guy right here, no wonder he was a #1 pick. You don't miss on those guys. He can fill in anywhere in the infield, do a very good job for you. And then at the plate, certainly no slouch there. He's going to be able to slash and dash. He's got a little pop in his bat, but he's a very situational type hitter, and he knows the game.
That's a fair ball just inside the bag. Now Christian Colon is at second base with 2 down.
Colon, just like I said, he's going to scrap and claw. Now, he's been fouling a lot of those pitches off in the last several games, but he finally gets one to stay fair. He talked it into it. Second hop. Right by Chisenhall. You're going good when you hit a double down the line on the chalk like that. See if the Royals can continue to do what they've been doing so well this year. 2-out RBIs. See if they can capitalize here on that nice double.
Carrasco struck out Alex with a hard slider down and in first time up. Pitch just like that one. And it's 0-1. Royals tied with the Red Sox for the most 2-out RBIs in the major leagues with 56. Royals also have the best batting average in all of baseball with 2 outs, over 300. And they have the best batting average with runners in scoring position with 2 outs at 325, leading all major league teams. It's a pitch. Alex having a tough time picking it up. That is Carrasco's 3rd strikeout, his 2nd against Gordon, and Colon is stranded at second. out of the south, blowing out toward left field and left center. And we are in the left field corner at Kraft and Draft on the Loge level. Mike Aviles leads off the 4th inning. The Indians scored 4 runs in the first 2 innings. Brandon Finnegan, in relief of Danny Duffy, has faced 5, retired 5, and he's gotten 6 outs against those 5 batters. Indians got 4 runs, 6 hits against Duffy in an inning plus 5 batters. And Mike Aviles in the Indians' 3-run 2nd inning was hit by a pitch and scored one of the runs. Fastball over the inside. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Kind of like what Finnegan's doing. He looks like he wants to stay. They all know the numbers. They all know, that there's just not room for everyone. Ned said before the game, you want to keep an 8-man bullpen. He says, I don't want to lose anybody. I don't want to have to send anybody down. But Finnegan is pitching like he wants to stay.
Just into center field as Aviles got it down around the end of the bat. And he's on to begin the 4th inning. Don't forget, students, to come out to Kauffman Stadium for Wednesday nights like tonight. If you weren't able to make it out to Kauffman Stadium, it is Student Night and Local Music Showcase presented by Inc. Magazine. You can mingle with friends and enjoy food and drink specials exclusively for students in the outfield experience, while listening to live music from local Kansas City bands. Our next student night is Wednesday, May 20th, with the Cincinnati Reds in town for an interleague series featuring music from Atlas.
Gracie Schramm was great today. We heard her. It was fun. She was entertaining the people. Finnegan kind of resembles a left-handed Goose Gossage. Although Gossage was a little taller, but he had similar deliveries. Real compact, comes flying out of there, hides the ball well. Just watching him from that back angle like that, it just kind of has a little bit of resemblance there. The way he stays compact, and it's really on you in a heartbeat there. See how his arm goes all the way down and he comes back around. Doesn't give the hitter much time to be able to pick up the release point.
Two and two.
It's a beauty, that breaking ball there. He sets guys up with that fastball, and then he comes back with that big hook, big bender. That's what it's designed to do to a left-handed batter.
Well, we've had a little food delivery. Look at that stop by Salvador Perez. Man, 3 balls, 2 strikes. So we've been hearing about the great food up here at Kraft and Draft, and now getting a delivery, and from James Mena, who is the executive chef at Kauffman Stadium. How about that? How often do you get something delivered by the executive chef?
Oh, because we had to check one of the pizzas out.
And our
oh man, way to go, bud. Thank you, James. Look at all that. I know. I'm glad I didn't eat dinner.
And they know your diet compared to mine, because all that food is over on your side.
Oh yeah.
And then we got look at that. And then our good buddy over here, John, Mark Carter, Bonesy. Bonesy, how many years you been here? 15 years. And now the manager up here at Kraft and Draft. So thanks for the food, man. You're moving up in the world. You're big time. Yeah.
Hey, is this one of those 90-second pizzas?
Yeah, 90 seconds.
90 seconds. Seriously, I got to go upstairs. You know, when Bob was here, when Bob Kinnick was here, you know, it went so fast I had to come back, but I was checking everything out up there. Love the camaraderie, like the atmosphere. There's a lot of energy up there. Yeah, you know they're having fun, especially when the Royals can get back in it. Hey, how do you cook this in 90 seconds? James, how do you do that? How do you do it in 90 seconds?
80 seconds. It's a turbo chef fire oven. 80 seconds on the fly.
Turbo chef. Way to go, man. It looks beautiful. I can't wait to dig in.
Look at that spread.
Is that calamari over there? Sweet and spicy calamari.
Wow.
That's going to be great. Look at Salvi. Oh,
He
nice.
thought about it.
Nice try, though, on the thought. Salvador Perez, he almost made a fantastic play off balance throw to force the runner at third base there, but he decided he wouldn't. It didn't quite have a grip, or else he would have thrown it. This guy is fearless. He's not afraid to make mistakes, but down 4-0, he's saying, you know what, I'll take the out. Salvador's not happy. He thought he could have made the forced play, but if you don't have a good grip on the ball and you throw it away, now you open the floodgates. Both runs score.
And now Finnegan pitches to Jason Kipnis, who is 2 for 2. He did that in the first 2 innings. He doubled to open the game, and then singled and drove in a run in the second game, and that was the last man that Danny Duffy faced. Thanks, James. Appreciate it, buddy.
Guys, hey, thanks so much. We really appreciate it. Give Ryan the bill, please. Thank you. Oh, no, waiter. Wade Davis is down there in the bullpen. Yeah, go ahead and give Wade the bill.
Wow.
How about it?
That is some spread. Man. Down and into Kipnis, and now 2 balls and no strikes. Kipnis drove in 4 against the Royals in Cleveland. The Royals won that series 2-1, and already a 4-0 lead, and runners at second and third with 1 out in the 4th inning. Three balls, no strikes. Switch hitting Carlos Santana's on deck. Bases loaded, 1 out. 2 walks in the inning from Brandon Finnegan. And now Dave Island's going to go out and have a little chat. You know, this is where the Royals have been very good this year and last year. You know how we talk so often about what a hitter does with a runner in scoring position. But you know, the Royals have the lowest ERA in the league with runners in scoring position. So they hit with runners in scoring position. They pitch very well with runners in scoring position. And I talked to Dave Island about that, and he had an interesting response. Dave Island, in bullpen sessions and spring training games, he really encourages all of his pitchers to pitch a lot out of the stretch, because, as he puts it, your biggest pitches in the game, your most important pitches of the game, are going to come out of the stretch. And there's a lot of game simulation of situations like this, and the results have been good for the Royals.
Makes a lot of sense. That's why we see some guys from the very get-go with nobody on just pitch from the stretch. That way they get used to it.
And I've often wondered too, you know, if you come to a game, and this isn't true for every pitcher, but for a lot of pitchers in between innings, almost every pitch will be out of the windup, and then one little half-hearted out of the stretch so the catcher can throw down to second base. Well, you know, you might be 1 pitch into the inning, base hit, and you spend the whole rest of the inning out of the stretch. But Dave Island, he wants guys to come into their starts. So again, we're talking starters, we're not talking relievers. Many of them come into the game out of the stretch, but he has his starters work a lot out of the stretch position.
Very smart pitching coach. Great mechanic. Knows how to make the adjustments with the guys. Gonna try to talk Finnegan into rolling him up on a double play ball here. Ooh, man, that ball's hit hard.
Dyson will make the play. Aviles will tag. And now the Indians have scored in 3 of 4 innings and have a 5-0 lead. Carlos Santana drives in his 14th of the year.
You turn that ball around.
So a big lead now for Cleveland. It's still relatively early, and if Finnegan can hold the Indians right here, the Royals can still feel like they're part of the game. But he's got to get past Michael Brantley. Brantley has grounded out twice. One of those into a double play, and it was against Finnegan. Got him to ground into a inning-ending 1-6-3 double play to end the second. Kipnis is at first. Chisenhall is at second.
You know, when Finnegan when he separates his hand when he's on the rubber over his knee and he comes down, he drops down, that's where he resembles Goose Gossage a little bit. He really has a drop with his lower half, and that's where I'm picking that up from. But you know, he's a lot of moving parts there. Okay, when he comes down right there, he really gets down low. See how low he gets, and he pushes off from down there. It just seems like he resembles Goose as a left-hander. From this angle, you see it better when he really drops and drives.
Brantley helps him out again. That's 2 straight pitches he's gone after out of the strike zone. Sal blocks it, keeps it in front of him. One of the Indians' runs tonight scored on a wild pitch back in the first. Indians have already had 11 base runners in 3 2/3 innings. Well, it buckled him, but didn't quite get the strike zone. And now 3-2 on Brantley.
Yeah, but he was hoping it would break because it was coming right at him.
And now here's Chris Young. Perhaps taking a starters-like approach for the 5th inning. Starting pitcher usually has about a 15-minute routine once they get on the field, from stretching to long toss to getting on the mound. And so Chris Young, if he is going to come on for the top of the 5th, has plenty of time to get loose, but can't go through the entire starter routine.
Royals fans getting a little impatient here. They're hoping Finnegan can retire Brantley. 3-2 runners going.
Another foul ball. This is the 3rd time tonight, the 3rd time in 4 innings that Michael Brantley has come up with a runner in scoring position. He is 0 for 2 so far, and he is one of the best in the league so far. Just below the knees.
Nothing wrong with that location. That's exactly where you want to put it. If he elevates that, he's going to drive that ball. That's a good pitch down low. Tester, too bad. Didn't get that call.
And that's the third walk of the inning. So Chris Young has had plenty of time to warm up. The hope, I'm sure, was to bring him in a clean inning in the 5th. But with Ryan Rayburn coming up, and his specialty is hitting lefties, Finnegan will come out, and Chris Young is a Chevy call to the bullpen. Shows us the players to watch. This was coming into today's games. Danny Duffy had a tough night, removed in the 2nd inning. Carlos Santana has singled and scored a run. Mark Trumbo was a player to watch, and he has 3 RBIs and a home run. And the same for Victor Martinez, a player to watch, and he has a home run. Go to DraftKings.com and enter the promo code BRoyal.
I like this. I'd like to see it before the game so I can start making my picks. Pick to click.
So Chris Young has to come in the middle of the inning. He inherits 3 runners. 1 run in for Cleveland for a 5-0 lead. And Terry Francona is going to stay with Ryan Rayburn, who has only faced Chris Young once. 1 ball, 1 strike. Chisenhall at 3rd, he walked. Kipnis at 2nd, he walked. And Brantley at 1st, he walked. So it hasn't been a pretty inning for the Royals on the mound, and yet if they could hold the Indians to 1 run after a base hit and 3 walks, they would feel quite fortunate.
Yeah, they would. And Young is the one to do that. Good fastball, not above average, but certainly hard to hit. He'll go 90 to 92 with that pitch. A nice little slider. A few changeups. '87 to 92 with his fastball. A lot of deception.
Filling in for Edison Volquez on Friday against Detroit, Chris Young pitched 5 hitless innings. And he gets Ryan Rayburn. So out of all that, a base hit and 3 walks, the Indians get 1. However, they do have a 5-0 lead in the bottom of the 4th. Order online with rapid pickup at delivery.panerabread.com. By Menards. Save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by Jack in the Box. Head to Jack in the Box for Jack's Blazing Chicken Sandwich. Mike Moustakas, Lorenzo Cain, Eric Hosmer. In the bottom of the fourth inning, the Royals have 2 hits in the first 3 innings against Carlos Carrasco, who has 5 runs of support very early in tonight's game.
Yeah, you don't have to tell the Royals offense what to do to get back in this. They do it with regularity. Every once in a while you're going to have a game like this where your starting pitcher doesn't make it through the first couple of innings, and you know, you want to just try to set up the table, get a few guys on, chip away, not giving any at bats away. And these guys don't do that. They compete it every single time they come up.
Moustakas has one of the 2 hits. He singled up the left field line in the first inning and then was thrown out, trying to stretch it into a double. Thrown out by Ryan Rayburn. Moustakas puts an end to an 0 for 10 with that base hit, and it's his 9th hit this year against the Indians. And this is just the 5th game between the 2 teams. Inside for a leadoff walk. Let's go down to the first base side, right outside the Royals dugout, and here's Jeff Montgomery.
Hey guys, I don't know about you, but this game really has kind of caught me off guard. The way Danny Duffy threw in his last start, the way things went tonight, I was very surprised to see the way this thing unfolded.
You know, it really looked like he was going to dodge a bullet in the first inning before the wild pitch led to the first run, and Danny hasn't let bad innings get to him like he did as a much younger pitcher. I thought he'd bounce back in the second inning, and he faced 5 and all 5 reached, and Ned Yost and Dave Eiland talking about it in the Royals dugout, just figured it wasn't going to be his night, and the Royals went to the bullpen in the second inning. Cain grounds it to third. Chisenhall to second one. Kipnis to first. No double play.
Yeah, Monty, you're not the only one. There's probably 25,000 people, fans here tonight, that are shocked like you. But like I was explaining, games like this happen. Baseball fans know that, and so do the Royals offense. They're going to do all they can to try to get back in this game and help out. Finnegan, I didn't think he looked too bad. How about you, Monty?
Yeah, I thought he looked good. It was a great job getting out of that jam that he inherited from Danny Duffy. And if you're going to give up runs, you got to bounce back. You want it to happen early in the game, give you as many at bats as possible to get back into it. But tonight, gosh, Carrasco looks pretty tough, so they have their work cut out for them.
And now strike to Eric Hosmer. He grounded out to first in the second inning.
Monty, everything he seems to be throwing is down in the zone and hard.
Yeah, he gets on top of the ball very, very well. Fastball moving down, slider moving down, changeup moving down. As a result, he's very tough to center up.
And then whenever he climbs the ladder like that pitch there, it's almost impossible to hit him.
Yeah, a lot of guys that have a difficult time pitching up if they have such good downward life, but Carrasco is one of those guys that can effectively climb the ladder to get those pop-ups and guys swinging under the ball.
1-2 on Hosmer. Stroke to right field, sinking, but charging to get it is Moss. 2 down.
Moss was playing extremely deep, but he's able to come in with no problem at all. The ball kind of hung up and jammed Hosmer. Didn't think it took his bat from him, though. I don't think it broke. Orioles are looking for a big hit. Now that wind is gushing from the right field foul pole to the left. Morales has good power to all fields.
And Carrasco's had a good hard slider tonight, or has very good command of that pitch tonight, and he struck out Morales with that pitch in the second inning. He uses it to jump ahead here in the fourth. In the air to right center field, and deep, and gone. A two-run home run for Kendrys Morales.
Power to all fields. That's right. I believe Morales could hit one through the teeth of a hurricane. Believe it. He's a strong man, waiting for something elevated. Carrasco finally made a mistake. It was an off-speed pitch at 83, just kind of floated over the inner half. And if it's elevated, big league hitters know what to do with those. Make a deposit. Royals back in it.
And now Sal out into center field, right at Brantley to put an end to the inning. But the Royals are on the board. It's now a 3-run game. Kendrys Morales, fooled by the slider early in the game, jumps on a hanging slider second time around for his 4th home run of the season. With Eric Hosmer, and adds to his team leading RBI total 23. Now the Royals are down by 3 with plenty of game to play, and Chris Young, who made a start 5 days ago and pitched 5 scoreless innings, came out of the bullpen with 2 outs and the bases loaded in the 4th, struck out Ryan Rayburn, and now his first full inning. It'll be Brandon Moss, Nick Swisher, and Mike Aviles. And that is shot foul right past Jeff Montgomery, who has a non-baseball related topic to discuss with us tonight.
Yeah, we've got some special guests in the house tonight, Ryan. Save a Warrior program is a program for warriors who'll come back and have had issues with post-traumatic stress. So these guys have really had difficult times throughout their lives, and now coming back from war, various wars, and the numbers are staggering in the amount that have been suicidal. In fact, 22 warriors are lost each day to suicide, so that's 1 every 65 minutes. Now these guys are going through this 5.5-day program here in Kansas City. There's also what they call a cohort in California where the warriors come in and they learn techniques to deal with their difficulties. So The guys have done a great job, and both the Royals and the Royals alumni have supported them and made it possible for these guys to come and make a difference in their lives.
Brandon Moss into deep center, but Kane is there to make the play. One down.
Monty, do they come from all parts of the country?
They do. They come from everywhere. They spend 5.5 days, and we're looking at some shots from this past weekend when they were here in Kansas City. And guys, again, they learn techniques, particularly meditation and that type, to deal with their issues. And this is what they call the leap of faith. They climb up this 40-foot pole, and they have to jump off, and they basically are looking for ways to start a new life. And they have a 100% success rate. Anyone that's interested in learning more, go to saveawarrior.org, because you'll learn a whole lot of very, very staggering numbers about how difficult it is for these warriors who come back home.
Well, I can tell you, I know one of those guys personally, Adam Majors, and he was instrumental in starting this program. They're having a good time.
Yeah, they are. Yes, sir.
Well, if he can have a good time doing that, I think the people around him can do the same.
No
There's
doubt.
Adam there with the long beard right in the middle of the screen there. I know that's a program he's very proud of. He is a warrior himself who has dealt with PTSD coming back home, and rather than go through it all by himself, he'll put together this organization and is there for others. Others are there for him.
Monty, that's wonderful that you're lending your name to that. That ball's going to be caught. Monty, who else did you say with the pitches for the Angels that's helping you with this?
Yeah, Mike Morin.
That's
Michael
right.
Morin, he's a graduate from Shawnee Mission South High School, pitches now for the Los Angeles Angels, but he's a guy that got me involved and told me a little bit about it, introduced me to Adam Majors, and from that point on I was in, and now we're doing everything we can to create awareness and hopefully allow them to raise very necessary funds for these particular cohorts.
Oh, 0-1 on Mike Aviles. He has scored twice tonight, hit by a pitch and scored in the second inning, singled and scored in the fourth.
Monty, that's just a wonderful thing. Now, I saw the guys out before the game in front of the Royals dugout meeting some players and stuff, and this has got to be a real nice downtime for them to be able to come and enjoy baseball, especially Royals baseball.
Right, they come in from everywhere, but the entire week is life-changing. Everyone has been through this program, has had a positive experience for it, so all the work is for a tremendous cause.
Monty, can you give the website again?
Yes, it's saveawarrior.org, and it's a very informative website. It'll tell you everything you need to know, and the most important thing is to have the understanding of what exactly is going on out there. So it's very important we help these guys who have helped create freedom for us.
Believe it.
Chris Young got the final out of the fourth inning and gets the Indians 3 up, 3 down in the top of the fifth. Once again, the website is saveawarrior.org. Kendrys Morales home run with 2 down in the 4th inning. Omar Infante takes inside from Carlos Carrasco. Infante line to right his first time up. Infante, Dyson, and Colon.
So, you know, Ned Yost saying, I'm going to ask you, Mr. Young, if you can go out and do another performance like you did against the Tigers. Can you just shut him down the rest of the way?
Do you think that's the exact quote?
No. I don't think he's going to use Mr. Young. He's going to say, come on, buddy, hold us down. Oh, my, that's beautiful.
Ronnie Chisenhall taking a hit away from Omar Infante. So a team not known for its defense has played good defense so far tonight.
You better believe it. That's a great play right there. That ball was by him. He's able to lay out and stay with that big hop. Really nice arm he's got. But you know, Young has the ability to do that. He's got the ability to shut these guys down.
That's fun attempt, fouled away by Dyson. Let's go to Joel.
All right, guys, you mentioned this briefly before, but our Mazda game break takes us to Washington, D.C. That's 22-year-old Bryce Harper, 1 homer, 2 homers, making 3 homers. Youngest player to hit 3 homers in a game since 1969. He went upper tank on 2 of them, and just noticed on Twitter that he is now over at the Washington Capitals game wearing a Capitals jersey. They're in the playoffs against the New York Rangers. I also mentioned that because Chris Young, who is the pitcher right now that is on record for the Royals, or not on record, but at least in the game, his father-in-law is the president of the Washington Capitals. Maybe the only guy in the Royals clubhouse or dugout that cares about the Capitals and the New York Rangers.
For now, he'll have to focus on the Cleveland Indians, but I'll bet getting some score updates in between innings.
Interesting tidbit, Joel. Way to bring the news to me. I didn't realize that.
Chisenhall, much easier play for him as he throws out Christian Colon. And a quick 3 up, 3 down, 5th inning for Carrasco. Royals are off to Detroit for another big series with the Tigers. You'll see Friday's game here on Fox Sports Kansas City. Saturday's game will be televised nationally on Fox Sports 1. Coverage begins at 11:30 on your home for baseball every Saturday, Fox Sports 1.
Love to see the big Fox taking the Royals to the nation. Everybody wants to see them. They're one of the best teams there are. It's beautiful to watch them play when they're hitting on all cylinders. Now, they had a little bump in the road tonight, but look, we're not having a bump in the road up here. It's beautiful. Craft and draft, man, I'll tell you, the food was great in between innings.
What have you dug into so far?
Oh, I'm going to tell you that I love the crab cakes. Are special. There's some fried calamari right here. The 60-second pizza didn't last very long, I can tell you that. Took me about a minute and a half to devour most of that. I'm not done either, Rhino.
Well, you got the numbers backwards. It's a 90-second pizza, and it took you 60 seconds to eat it.
Okay. Yeah. You speak HUD. Thank you. But anyway, it is delicious.
I had one of those spicy chicken soft shell tacos over there. It's got a nice bite to it.
Well, I'll tell you what.
You got some desserts over there as well? Huh?
Yeah, we'll have to hit those a little bit later to celebrate the comeback here in a few more innings. But while Bob Kendrick was here, I got to go up and see the fans and have fun and get to see the whole area here. It is beautiful. First time I've ever been up here, especially in a game, because we're always behind the screen there in the booth. But man, fun, energy, people are socializing. It's the place to be.
Up the left field line. Alex underhands it into the crowd for a souvenir. There it is, Craft and Draft, the old stadium club, Royal Stadium, Kauffman Stadium. And when they renovated in 2009, half of this area remained behind the glass. And in this past offseason, they decided to open it all up. Nike Stockus over to the Indians dugout to make a play.
The wind is playing tricks on the baseball because it's gushing 20-25 miles an hour, by my opinion. Moose knew where the rail was, had to come off it just a hair and put on the brakes. Looked up once, looked up twice. He knows where he is and loved it. Big out.
Now Brett Hayes pops it up. And Salvador Perez for the second out.
Well, we know that Chris Young is a fly ball pitcher, but man, he's really got him popping up here. Throws up underneath the baseball. He pushes up underneath it. It appears to the hitter that it's very hittable, but very few of them ever square him up.
Hey.
Next homestand, the New York Yankees are in town beginning on Friday, May 15th, and the weekend series includes a Buck Night and summer fireworks on Friday, a Royals tote bag giveaway on Saturday, and as Bob Kendrick was up here, we were talking about the Monarchs newsboy hat on Sunday. And remember, this is the only time the Yankees come to Kansas City, so make sure to get your tickets at Royals.com or by calling 1-800-6-ROYALS May 15th through the 17th. The New York Yankees here. Jason Kipnis has been on all 3 times tonight. Yankees have been a surprise team so far. 17-10 coming into tonight. That, I believe, is a newsboy hat.
That's exactly what it looks like, although the press tag is missing from the top of it. You know how they had put press on the back, or they put a pin in it.
The newsboy hat, though, I think that was more like the delivery boy, right? That was more the,
yeah,
not the press. It was the delivery boy, right?
Oh, is this what we're talking about?
Little caps, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
You're thinking about last year's giveaway, the fedora, the old press hat inside the fedora. So there you go. You know.
Yeah, that's the fedora.
Get your papers here.
That's right.
Extra, extra. Read all about it.
There you go.
Right.
They don't do that anymore, though, do they? Got him popping up.
Chris Young has knocked down all 7 Indians hitters he's seen tonight. Yellowwood. Kendrys Morales with 2 down and a man on in the bottom of the 4th inning, turning a 5-0 game into a 5-2 game. Driving in Lorenzo Cain within. Getting the Royals within striking distance, and now beginning their 3rd time through the order against Carlos Carrasco.
Time to get him. Morales just kind of broke him in. I've never seen Morales miss hardly on a cookie that's up like that. He's going to hit it hard. Now, he's not going to get a hit every time, but that guy right there can dance.
Up the left field line and home run distance, but just a little bit foul. It's the closest we've come to a ball tonight.
That's plenty of distance.
Our Sonic Slam inning contestant tonight is Becky Roberts from Lewisburg. If the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Becky wins $600. If the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Becky wins $25 grand from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals. Carrasco doesn't give up many home runs. 2 to be exact this year. And that's over 26 2/3 innings.
Well, it's easy to see why he doesn't, because he has very good stuff and he throws quality strikes. That means strikes that are on the corners and down. It's hard for a hitter to lift those balls and put them over the fence when you're down in the zone constantly with that kind of movement.
And he has struck out Alex 3 times with that exact same pitch, a slider down and in.
At some point you just got to tell yourself, I'm not going to swing at it. But you know, that's close to Alex's nitro zone. But that last minute break and the spin is so deceiving, the hitter can't pick it up.
So he has 4 strikeouts, 3 of those against Alex. Now Mike Moustakas has a single, and he's been on base with a walk, and that's the only walk allowed by Carrasco.
Smooth, explosive delivery, Carrasco. That ball's coming out of his hand free and easy, and you can tell when that hitter picks up that release point, he's thinking fastball all the way, and he just can't pick up that downward action. Well, that little snappy.
3-0.
Guys, one thing about Carrasco, I've talked to some of the guys over on the Cleveland side. He said earlier in his career he was a guy that would maybe give up. You go back to the home run in the 4th inning from Morales. After something like that, he would really kind of fall apart, but he's much better now at staying composed.
He was influenced in that regard, I hear, Monty, by Charles Nagy when Charles Nagy was part of the Indians coaching staff, and that was his biggest contribution to Carlos Carrasco, was helping him control his emotions. He'll throw to first and get Moustakas 2 down. Lorenzo Cain coming up, and we go back to Joel.
Well, Ryan talked to Lorenzo today. 2 games off with the suspension plus an off day. But he said he really stuck to his normal routine, hitting the batting practice group, shag fly balls, ran the bases a little bit extra just to keep the legs fresh. But he said, I'm not a guy that likes to take a lot of extra swings in the cage. I save my best swings for the game. And then with a big smile, he said, I haven't hit the low cane triangle in a while.
That's kind of against the norm of today's baseball player, to save some for the game. I mean, these guys do nothing but hit when they get to the ballpark.
No, players get to the ballpark at 12 o'clock most days, even at home. On the road, it's a given. They hang out, hit when they get bored, but they hit, and sometimes you can hit too much, especially when you're going good. When you're going good, you just want to take a few swings in the cage, maybe get a few out on the field, and stay locked in. You have to have that internal gauge yourself, though. You have to be able to coach yourself. You can't always leave that up to the hitting coach, but you got to communicate that with him. You always got to tell him how you're feeling. Oh, I need a few more. I got to work on some of this, some of that.
Yeah, you're right. I remember some of the drills that today's hitters do every day were drills that struggling hitters would do 20 years ago, you know, just to kind of get their swing and timing back. But now all those drills are just part of most hitters' daily routines. Right center field, long run, Brantley, and Brantley can't quite get it, and it gets behind Moss. And Lorenzo Cain will end up at third base with 2 down.
From our angle over here down the left field line, up at the Kraft and Draft, it looked like Brantley had it. Looked like he gloved it. Cain had a little slice to it. The wind was pushing it towards Brantley. They were fortunate they didn't collide there. Lorenzo Cain walks in easy with a triple.
Well, this is the guy the Royals want at the plate right here and right now. Eric Hosmer. 4 RBIs in the game last night. And that shot to left field. That is a fair ball and down into the corner. It is a 5-3 game as Hosmer has driven in another run. He has driven in 5 in this series, and now 44 in his career against the Indians.
Very aggressive first pitch, hacking. That ball's right down the middle. He can't miss that. As hot as he's been, and he's not, and he's used the whole field now. He no longer is a pull hitter unless it's an off-speed pitch that's sitting there for him. This one stayed inside nicely, kept his hands in, found the hole, picked up another 2-out RBI. The Royals are relentless getting 2-out stakes. And the way we've been seeing the Royals score runs in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning, I believe the Royals got them exactly where they want them. Especially if they can somehow find a way to get to that bullpen. Terry Francona's got an arm, maybe 2 arms now over there starting to loosen up. Well, there's one anyway.
That's Scott Atchison just starting to warm up and doing so very quickly. talking to Ned Yost earlier on the homestand about the Royals' success with runners in scoring position, and especially 2 outs. Now the Royals have 59 2-out RBIs. And I asked him, I said, you know, what do the so-called clutch hitters do? And he said, really, it's what they don't do. They don't get caught up in runner in scoring position, 2 outs. They stay with their same approach, which is an interesting take on it. Whereas, you know, another hitter may completely come out of their game thinking, man, the crowd's standing up, they're running out of time, runner in scoring position, 2 outs, and they try and do something different from what they would normally do.
That's right. Try too hard. And look at Morales. Very confident, staying loose. He knows that Carrasco wants to get him to swing at a pitch. That's his pitch, Carrasco's pitch. Morales wants to wait for his pitch. And if he doesn't get it, he's got Salvador Perez, who's been a beast with runners in scoring position this year. So Salvador is protecting Morales right here.
Looked like it was ball 3.
It was.
Like, that's one thing as a pitcher, when you're out in this situation, you want to try to expand that strike zone. You want to try to have the hitter hit on your terms, and that's one thing the Royals have done such a good job. And we saw Eric Hosmer go the other way, really kind of taking what the opposing pitcher is giving them.
Outside to make it 3-1.
Carrasco is being extremely careful right here. And when a pitcher does that and you try to aim that ball, that's when you make a mistake. 3-1. Morales is in the driver's seat. They all have a license to drive that bus. Believe me, all of them are licensed. You just never know who's going to actually drive. Let Salvi drive. That's what I'm saying. That's why they're so deep and they're dangerous this year. They're being more selective. It's because they finally bought into Dale Swain, the hitting coach's philosophy. Look, you don't have to do it yourself. Let the next guy do it. Makes them dangerous. They all can knock in the big run.
Well, the topic of hitting with runners in scoring position, here is the Royals' best. Look at that. My goodness. What is considered the most clutch situation, Salvador Perez is hitting .529.
Now, these fans here, they believe it's going to happen as well. Now, does it have to happen this inning? No, because they've got some time left. Just keep pecking away.
Low for ball 1. 2 at-bats tonight for Sal against Carrasco. And in his first at-bat, he had one right on the nose and line to right. He's also flied to center field. That makes him 2 for 12 against Carlos Carrasco. With 2 outs and nobody on, Kane tripled, Hosmer doubled, Morales walked. Inside 2-0.
Royals 10-4 here at the K this year. A definite home field advantage.
Chopped off the plate to Chisenhall. And that's in time to end the inning. So the Royals continue to chip away. What was a 5-0 Cleveland lead at the end of 3.5 innings is now a 5-3 Cleveland lead.
That's a little further than the low Kane triangle, but that was close. Haas picking him up.
STIHL. By your Midwest Ford dealers. Visit yourmidwestforddealers.com. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price every day. Royals down by 2 as we begin the 7th inning. Franklin Morales becomes the 4th Royals pitcher tonight. Danny Duffy went 1 inning and then faced 5 batters in the 2nd without recording an out. Brandon Finnegan gave up 1 run in 2 2/3. Chris Young no runs in 2 1/3. And now Morales to face Santana, Brantley, and Rayburn. Good breaking ball for a strike to Santana. He has scored a run and driven in a run.
Monty, Ned's got to be able to spread the love around during this game, especially when your starter doesn't go 2 innings.
Yeah, you're going to need 8 innings of relief. So far, 5 innings, 1 run relief. Can't ask for much more than that. Great job of Finnegan getting out of that 2nd inning.
Two and one on Carlos Santana.
Morales, good fastball slider, 92 to 95. He'll touch. Good slider. And he's a little deceptive. He's got a really herky-jerky type of hip turn. That ball gets on the hitters in a heartbeat.
And a leadoff walk. That is the league-leading 24th walk for Carlos Santana.
He's hard to pitch to. He does not swing unless the ball's right down the middle.
And then when he does swing, I mean, he comes out of his shoes.
So you know that's how you become a more successful hitter, especially for an average too, because when you walk, it doesn't count as an at-bat.
And now Michael Brantley, who has been quiet so far tonight, 0 for 2 with a walk. A high strike from Morales. This is a matchup that has really favored Morales, as Brantley is just 1 for 8. Slider is outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Morales has done a nice job for the Royals. He has pitched 10 innings and he's allowed just 2 runs, and the walk was just his 2nd. Shallow right center, 4 Royals in pursuit, and Colon is not able to grab it. Safe at second base. Heads up play by Moustakas to run to the bag, hoping for a force out. And Moustakas also heads up and calling timeout because there was nobody even near at third base. If Santana could make a little move around Moustakas, he'd have gone to third base.
Yeah, Santana, he thought about it and he made a little movement like he was going to go there, but anyway, nice job. Now this is very difficult play, especially with the wind blowing like it is. Tough to focus on that, going back on it. You know, the infielder is going to go back all the way until he hears something. If he doesn't hear anything, he knows it's his all the way. Just hit off of his glove. Good attempt. Tough play without any wind, but tonight here at the K, it's having an impact on the baseball when it's in the air.
Ryan Rayburn takes outside. He was hit by a pitch in the first inning, otherwise 0 for 2. That's hit well to left center field. Alex is back, and it's just beyond his reach. And now a bare hand grab, and no chance for a relay, but Alex just plucked that thing out of the sky with his bare hand. The Indians get another run to make it 6-3 as Santana scores. And now we're going to get a pinch runner. Michael Bourne is going to run for Ryan Rayburn. You know, Hud, you go back to the 4th inning, and Ned Yost brought in Chris Young, and Terry Francona elected to stay with Ryan Rayburn with the bases loaded. Now, Rayburn struck out then, but by leaving him in, he's still in there to face the lefty Franklin Morales.
Great point. Francona also knew that Morales was still in there, and he was down in Ned's bullpen, and he comes back with a nice short swing. Now, sitting out here in left field, what a great break Alex Gordon got on it. You know, what a different perspective the fans get out here. You know, watching these players and seeing the flight of the ball almost looks like it's floating. And then to be able to watch the routes that these outfielders take. Alex Gordon, heck, that was a great attempt on that ball. The ball was hit hard. It short hopped the wall, and he almost caught it and almost threw out Santana, who was at second. That ball's crushed.
Brandon Moss. That ball, like a hockey puck in the corner of a rink, hugs the wall. And the Indians are going to get 2 more runs on a double by Brandon Moss as he drives in Brantley and Bourne, and now it's back to a 5-run Cleveland lead.
Well, Cleveland Indians, you know, they can only stay down for so long, and they're starting to heat up a little bit here in game 2 of this series. Brandon Moss, he's not going to miss. Royals fans remember what he did here in the wild card game. That ball's up and elevated. Look at the hip turn. And speaking of hip, his hip that was surgically repaired in the offseason has not bothered him now. He told me before the game that he's able to keep his hips in there and not pull off on him, because when he was hurt last season, he had to leak with his hip. His hip would fly open, so all it left was his hands, and he would hit lazy fly balls. But now that he's well, he's able to keep his hip tucked and drive the ball. As was evident on that inside pitch there he just turned on.
Ball one to Nick Swisher.
Couldn't help but congratulate him on his individual feat in the wild card, hitting those 2 home runs and 5 RBIs, and he was quick to say, but yeah, we lost. I said, yeah, look, I understand. You know, your loss was the Royals' gain, but what did you think about it? He goes, it's the most fun game I've ever been a part of in my life. Make sure. Another heads-up play. Morales. Oh, man, he almost made a mistake there. Morales, he thought he could get Moss back at second base, but you have to make sure you can get him. And Infante heads up again, just picks it, and, you know, catches it and throws it, saying, I still got time to get the guy at first. Some kind of instincts he has. Okay, Morales didn't get him, and
should he have gone for the tag?
You know, he wasn't expecting Moss for his arms to get tucked under.
And now Moss heads to third, even though Sal throws a bullet to Mike Moustakas to make it close.
That last angle, Moss couldn't get his arms out from under him. Looks like they got stuck in the dirt. Let's see it again. This is Salvi's play here, and that ball is, you know, 25 feet off of the plate. I mean, he pounced on it like a cat.
Royals bring the infield in, and Aviles grounds it through the hole, and all of a sudden the Cleveland Indians have their largest lead of the night. And what felt like the wind blowing in now feels like the wind blowing out. Just took the air and the life out of this crowd. So Franklin Morales had gone 10 innings and allowed just 2 runs. Tonight he has gone 1/3 of an inning and allowed 4 runs.
Let's take another look at that Infante play, and let me explain what happened here. Infante thought that Moss, his hands were going to touch the base. And so when he wasn't anticipating that Moss's arms were going to get caught. See, look, they got caught there, and he wanted to go ahead and get the out while he could. And that's why he didn't jump on Moss. So, you know, he's saying, my bad. He might have should have stayed with the tag, but still heads up and up to get it out.
Kane cuts over into left center field. That retires Chisenhall for the second out. Well, a tough inning for Morales and the Royals bullpen, which to this point had really picked up Danny Duffy and the Royals, giving up just 1 run in a combined 5 innings. Brandon Finnegan and Chris Young. And the Royals offense had drawn closer, turning a 5-0 game into a 5-3 game. And the Royals down to their last 9 outs on offense, trail by 6. Brett Hayes is 1 for 2 with a second inning RBI single. Oh, 0-2.
Ryan, we've seen some quality relief of Finnegan and Chris Young, and like Denny Matthews on radio likes to say, the more guys you bring in from the bullpen, the better chance one of those guys is not going to be on that night. And unfortunately tonight, Morales is that guy.
That's a good point, Monty. That you know, the good news is you bring in all these guys and they're all quality guys, but yeah, the odds are that one of them is not going to have their game tonight. Tell you something else, Monty, that echoed in my ears. Speaking of Denny, how many times has he said this in 47 years as a Royals broadcaster? Leadoff walk, late innings, close ball game. And this all started with a leadoff walk.
It seems like they almost always score.
Now Brett Hayes hits it hard into left center field, but Kane glides over to make it look easy. 8 come to the plate, and the Indians get 4 in the top of the 7th inning.
Minnesota blanking Oakland behind Eddie Rosario's first major league home run on his first ever pitch seen. Mark Burley leading the way for Toronto, and the Cubs 5-4 right now on top. Our Boston game break takes us 2, Chicago. That's Chris Sale and Miguel Cabrera doing the damage. Guys, how about this? When we last saw Chris Sale, we heard he was maybe knocking on the Royals clubhouse door, to put it nicely, that big skirmish. Since that, he's gone 2 games, 12 earned runs, 8 in the 3rd innings, 5 walks tonight.
Hope he's knocking on that door again.
That's right. Sometimes that'll throw you off. Bad karma, whatever you want to call it. Best to just stay in your own house, take care of your own business. And you know, Samardzija hadn't fared that well either.
Omar Infante is down on strikes. That is 5 for Carlos Carrasco. Omar is 0 for 3. So he is breathing new life now. Carrasco with a 6-run lead. The Royals had him on the ropes in the bottom of the 6th inning with 2 outs and nobody on. A Royals specialty. A rally started. Kane tripled. Hosmer doubled to make it a 2-run game. Then Morales walked, bringing up Salvador Perez, the Royals' best hitter so far this year, with runners in scoring position. Carrasco got a ground ball to third to get out of that mess, and then the Indians responded with 4 in the top of the 7th inning. I wonder if Royals fans remember Carlos Carrasco's history with the Royals. You probably don't remember, maybe some of you do, that Carrasco in 2010 got his first big league victory against the Royals. I am assuming that some Royals fans will remember Melky Cabrera hitting a grand slam in 2011 off of Carlos Carrasco, and Melky, with a pun intended, was really milking it and took a long time to get up the first base line. The next hitter was Billy Butler, and the pitch sailed over his head. Carrasco was immediately ejected. Now here's where the story gets humorous. Of course, right on cue. There it is.
Ooh, I mean, right
over his head.
Whoa.
You can imagine why Billy felt the way he did. The Royals dugout came pouring onto the field, and it took quite an effort by the umpiring crew and the Indians on the field to create some sort of barrier to keep the Royals from tearing Carlos Carrasco to shreds. I mean, that wasn't a Kelvin. I'm not making excuses for Kelvin Herrera, but that wasn't a pitch behind the shoulder blades. That was right over his head. And now Chisenhall will drop the ball.
You know, the one time that happens, which is maybe once a year, you'll see that. Not very often. Wouldn't you know it? The runner who hits the ball is on first base. Look at that. That just, you know, that's why you run hard all the time, and you just never know. I mean, you know, just that happens in baseball, and it's unfortunate when it does happen.
Now strike to Christian Colon. Colon has doubled and grounded out to third. So Carrasco throws over Billy Butler's head. He's ejected. He's suspended for 6 games back in 2011. Well, the Indians want him to continue to pitch, so they send him down to AAA so that he could continue to pitch and he doesn't have to miss any time with the suspension. While pitching in AAA, he blows out his elbow and he has Tommy John surgery. So he misses the end of 2012, all of 2013, or all of 2012, part of 2011. And he stumbled after making that pitch. Let me get the facts back for you. Suspended because of throwing over Billy's head, goes to AAA, blows out his elbow. He misses the rest of 11, all of 12. He finally gets back to the big leagues in 2013. And in his first start, in retaliation for one of his guys getting hit, he throws over Kevin Youkilis's head and gets suspended another 8 games.
That's the worst.
Oh. So you think Kelvin Herrera has a sticky situation with a couple of suspensions that equal 7 games. At one point, Carlos Carrasco had 14 games worth of suspensions hanging over his head.
And Tommy John surgery. That's a tough year and a half.
Speaking of Kelvin, he's getting ready in the Royals bullpen. And that gets back to what Monty was talking about earlier tonight, that maybe the biggest hurdle for Carlos Carrasco to becoming a bona fide major league pitcher was handling his emotions. Some of the things that we've discussed with the Royals and how they've protected their hitters this year is the effort is appreciated. Maybe there could be a little more discretion when it comes to the timing.
And they'll learn that, as Ned has had a few meetings talking about the timing.
Dyson runs. The Indians will let him. He should get a stolen base. Santana was holding him, and he does get a stolen base, but Hayes didn't even come out of the crouch thinking about a throw down to second base.
Yeah, 6-run lead. We let him have it.
Carrasco's slider has given Alex Gordon fits tonight. He has struck out Alex 3 times, all with a slider down and in. 3-1. 95 pitches, and they are ready when called upon in the Indians bullpen. Three and 2. Now Dyson takes off for third, and Alex slices it up the line, and Brantley slides into foul territory and does not make the play. And he's a little slow getting up.
Pretty good effort.
Dyson runs again, and Alex strikes out for a 4th time tonight against Carrasco. To the 8th, Cleveland leads 9-3. Shake from his manager and the rest of his teammates. He goes 7, gives up 3 runs and 5 hits. Our sprint cuts of the game. Chris Young coming in a critical part of the game with the bases loaded and 2 down in the 4th. Comes out of the Royals bullpen and strikes out Ryan Rayburn. That appeared to be one of the biggest outs of the night at the time because the Royals were mounting a comeback. They could not allow the Indians to get any further. The Royals ended up drawing to within 2. Francisco Pena just called up from the minor leagues as Eric Kratz went on the disabled list. He's behind the plate. Paulo Orlando goes into left field to give Salvador Perez and Alex Gordon the rest of the night off, and Kelvin Herrera will get the top of the 8th inning. Herrera last night had a long stretch of innings pitched without allowing a home run come to an end. Lonnie Chisenhall in the 8th inning, leading off the inning in a 2-run game, hit a home run to right field. That put an end to 105 1/3 innings for Herrera without allowing a home run. Top of the order for the Indians. Jason Kipnis has been on 3 times. One and 1. That was not, however, the Royals' record. I was a bit surprised when the announcement was made that that was a Royals record for a reliever. Hosmer to Herrera, and Kipnis is out, and I thought, well, that has to be a team record because there's no way a starter would go more than 105 innings without allowing a home run.
Yeah, and I was reading it today, and I was totally amazed, thinking that there's no way that a starter could go that many innings. Sure enough, Zach Greinke went 111 innings from September 2nd, 08 to June 5th of 09.
I had forgotten that.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You're good when you're a starting pitcher and you can keep the ball in the yard over that many innings. And that's facing the hitter 3 times a game, at least.
You know, I kind of made a loose comparison to that last night. I remember saying, you know, imagine a pitcher going 210 innings and for half of that not allowing a home run. I mean, that would be out of this world for a pitcher to do that. And it is different for a reliever, and I'm not taking anything away from Kelvin. I mean, that was the longest streak of any major league pitcher. A reliever has the advantage every night of facing the lineup once, whereas the lineup gets a chance to face a starter 2, 3, sometimes 4 times, so they can get a feel for what he has that night, and even if he has his A game, they can try and make some adjustments. But I thought, well, that was worded interesting for a reliever. I mean, that's got to be a team record, but nope, 111.
You know, I knew Greinke was really good, especially when he was a Royal, but that just speaks volumes. And Herrera, take nothing away from what he's done. And now Wade Davis, the baton's passed to him. Can he keep the ball in the yard? I mean, it's going to happen eventually, but very impressive what this young man, Kelvin Herrera, can do.
Still 1 and 2. Remember 2 seasons ago, that was a big problem for him. Home runs. Remember that?
You better believe I did, and so did he. Remember that series in Atlanta? They busted him. I think they hit 3 in the same series, or maybe back-to-back in the same game. Something like that. It was loud. And his changeup, you know, he wasn't locating. He was young. He had the great arm, but he didn't have the command that he's developed. That's how quickly you mature in this game. Doesn't take long. And they sent him out to work on another pitch. Little slider. And now we hardly ever see that slider because he's got such great command with his 100-mile-an-hour fastball and his 88-mile-an-hour changeup. Sorry.
99.
Yeah, not only 99.
Took a little off of it.
Yep, he's gifted. Here's some 99 coming at you. And you know, Rhino, are you done? Are we done with that dessert? She wanted to take it. No, Lindsay, please leave the dessert. Everything's been great up here. Thank you. No, don't take the dessert. Rhino said don't. It's
okay,
Lindsay.
This is Lindsay. Come on, Lindsay. Okay, nice talking to you, Lindsay.
Yeah, really. Trying to give her.
Don't think that won't be reflected in your tip.
Waiter.
Oh boy. Proving once again.
Hey, this is baseball, man. It's beautiful.
Wells' report is in, and Tom Brady could be facing serious discipline from the league. Jay Glazer has the details. Plus, LeBron could be starting with an 0-2 hole. Highlights and analysis following Game 2 between the Bulls and Cavs. Plus, James Harden and Dwight Howard hope to bounce back at home against the Clippers. So stick here for a simulcast of Fox Sports Live after the game. And despite some injury issues, Cavaliers did not lose to the Bulls. Cleveland takes Game 2, so that series is tied at 1 game apiece. We were just in Cleveland during the last road trip, and remember the headlines with the Cavaliers advancing past the first round. It said, "Cavs advance at a heavy price." And now that series is tied at 1 game apiece. This is Mark Zepchinski. After Carlos Carrasco went 7 innings, gave up 3 runs. Mike Moustakas into left field. Brantley to the line. Foul territory, makes the play. 1 down.
Brian, being the English major that you are, I mean, does Mark Zepchinski really need the R on the first part of that name there?
No,
I mean, the first letter.
But then again, it would be a bit hypocritical for me to start calling out names that have unnecessary letters.
That's right. Lefevre.
Yeah. And it wouldn't hurt if you drop that first R and the second Z was changed to an H. Then I would understand Zepchinski. Yeah, I bet Mark and I could sit down and have a little chat about names being mispronounced,
butchered.
You know, first day of school with a new teacher.
Oh,
you just learn to know when your name was coming. You know, Larson here, Lee here, and then there would be a long pause, and I knew that it was time for me to say here.
Well, how about Zepchinski?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good, Rhino. Because we all remember that, how nervous we were our first day.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the teacher butchers the name, that's tough. It's hard to handle.
And some, you know,
that could be insulting to a young person.
Absolutely. And demoralizing, especially when a teacher, and I'm sure Zepchinski went through this. It's Lefevre, ma'am. It's what? Lefevre. Lefevre. And at that point, you know, the whole class is looking at you, and just puts you at a huge social advantage, you know, and you haven't even gotten your first homework assignment, you know.
Right. Now,
but you don't need me to empty out all my dirty laundry.
No, we do, because it's really good. This is entertaining. For me, anyway, it is. But we shouldn't have to.
How about this guy? You sign that. You sign that. There's your signature.
Beautiful thing.
Hudosaurus Rex.
That's crazy. I loved it. Yeah, I did sign it. I signed it on his belly. Kind of fired me up. I was thinking, you know, what am I going to say? It's very humbling. Yeah, fan to make his, you know, that's a pretty good drawing too.
Yeah. He's got a headset on and a microphone. Chisenhall's going to have to hurry, and Hosmer is out by 1 step to the 9th. Royals down 9-3. Fraser into the game. Now Cleveland leads 9-3 as we head to the 9th inning. And of course, coming up after the game, Boulevard Royals Live, setting up tomorrow's series deciding game, Edison Volquez against Corey Kluber, last year's Cy Young winner, who was winless with a 4.62 ERA. One of those losses coming against the Royals. Coverage begins tomorrow at 12:30 with Hy-Vee Royals Live. And the first pitch is at 1:10. Joel and Monty will be out there giving you the highlights of tonight's game and getting us ready for the final game of the series and the final game of this homestand, as the Royals will be leaning on Edison Volquez to win yet another series. Jason Frazier will take over in the top of the 9th inning.
Pretty nice ERA he's got going so far this year. 0.00. Fastball, slider, split finger.
Michael Bourne was a pinch runner for Ryan Rayburn back in the 7th inning. This is his first plate appearance of the night. If the Indians are going to get hot offensively, if they are going to turn a 9-16 start into what many predicted would be a playoff appearance, Michael Bourne and Nick Swisher need to get it going. Now Swisher is just in his 2nd game back from the disabled list, but Michael Bourne is hitting just 193, and he has recently been benched against left-hand pitching.
There's plenty of time, and that's what you tell yourself. If you're a veteran player, you're saying, you know what, I got time. You don't panic, so you spend some time in the cage. We already talked about that earlier, how these guys sometimes overhit.
Paulo Orlando makes the play.
But you know, when you're not going good and you're a veteran, sometimes you know you hit until you find something, and then it starts clicking again, and then you go, oh yeah, there it was, I made a little adjustment here, and it works, and you just ride the wave. But you have to hit your way out of slumps. You don't sit your way out of slumps.
Fouled away by Brandon Moss. He has driven in 2 of the 9 runs tonight and scored a run.
Anyway, my conversation with Moss today was really good, and hadn't had enough time between all the action up here at the Craft and Draft down the left field line and the game to really share with the audience what he had to say about the crowd, the Royals last year, the Royals this year. There we are. We're left alone up there, right here in the corner. Love it. It's been a lot of fun. If we look lonely, we're not, really, believe me. We've met a lot of people tonight. Folks have made their way down. Really, the party is up in the top, though. That's where the party is. They picked a nice spot where we could just hang out and share one of the many areas in this beautiful ballpark you can enjoy a game. Now that
looks familiar.
Looks very familiar. And that beautiful ERA that I was bragging about for Frazier now has a blemish.
Last time Brandon Moss hit a home run here, the Royals won the game.
You know what? Right on.
Look on the bright side.
Yeah. Now, you were doing the radio.
Yeah.
I was sitting up here right just a few sections over from here when I saw that ball drift over the center field wall off Yordano Ventura, and it was very similar. How weird is that?
Yeah, when he gets it, the ball really jumps off his bat.
He's got tremendous power.
A concern for some in regard to the Indians. Yeah, they have Brandon Moss, and he should be a nice fit. You mentioned the hip surgery, which should help his production. They have Michael Brantley, who is becoming one of the best players in the American League. He was third in the MVP voting last year. They have Jason Kipnis, who had an off year last year, but is a good all-around player. Defense, speed, hitting. That's Kipnis. Lonnie Chisenhall, very Mike Moustakas-like first-round pick that's starting to come into his own. But all of those hitters are left-handed. Some believe that the Indians might be a little too left-handed. Don't quite have the right-hand bats to complement the left side. And to that end, Ned Yost, instead of pitching Jason Vargas against the Tigers on Sunday, flipped Vargas with Guthrie and had Guthrie pitch against the Tigers on Sunday, just so Vargas could start last night with all these left-hand batters, and Vargas ended up the winning pitcher. Danny Duffy will take the loss tonight, but Danny hardly got knocked around the block. He just didn't have his command and was hitting batters and walking guys, and you could just tell it wasn't his night. Swisher hits a rocket right to Jarrod Dyson for the second out. So for the Indians, it could come down this year, Hud, to how well they do against left-hand pitching, because that's what teams, if they have the ability to manipulate their rotation the way the Royals did for this series, that's what teams are going to do to Terry Francona.
Yep, Terry Francona in his third year now. He knows these guys. He knows them well enough to know, and he really is a manager that empowers his players. He puts a lot of trust in them. I mean, sometimes to a fault, he'll tell you. But he's going to stay with his guys. He believes they'll climb out of it. Last year, they got up to a slow start. They didn't make the playoffs, but they almost did. And they put a whooping on our Royals at the end of the season last year, especially here at the K. They take 4 from us. I think they took the last 4.
It's a 3-hit game for former Royal Mike Aviles, and he's on with 2 down. Hosmer will go to the bag, and that's the inning. 10-3 Indians as the Royals come up in the bottom of the 9th. reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Corporation. Ryan Lefevre, Rex Hudler, Joel Goldberg, Jeff Montgomery. Hud and I are up watching the game, broadcasting the game from Craft and Draft in left field, with producer Joe Lavero, director Steve Kurtenbach, our associate producers Al Broughton, Sam Abramson, Dave Holtzman, and the producer of Royals Live is Brian Shapiro, and they're getting ready to talk about tonight's game and get ready for tomorrow's game coming up right after the conclusion here. This is Zach McAllister now pitching for Cleveland, and you'll get Kendrys Morales, Salvador Perez, and Omar Infante. Morales takes a strike. He had a 2-run home run in the 4th inning, helping the Royals as they were chipping away from a 5-0 deficit. The home run by Morales made it 5-2. Hosmer had an RBI double in the 6th to make it 5-3, but the Indians have scored 5 runs since. So the series will be tied at 1 game apiece with Volquez and Kluber tomorrow. And now Morales is down on strike. So while we're talking about our great crew, there's a couple of other guys we want to acknowledge up here. First of all, Doc Carruthers, Mike Carruthers, our stage manager, and helping us get all set up out here and keeping everything in line. And then I'm going to kind of lean to this. This is our friend Lily. Lily was sitting up here in the Craft and Draft, and she's been hanging out with us and having a good time. And behind Lily, stand up, Ryan. There's Ryan Miller back there, our audio guy, making sure that we sound like we normally do, so far away from our regular broadcast booth.
That's right.
So all we had to do was pack up our gear and walk to this location and set up like we normally would in our broadcast booth. Everyone else had to do the heavy lifting.
They did, and we thank them, because it's been a great experience for me. I love being up here with the people.
Don Elliott is not up here, but Don Elliott did a lot of work, our video technician, to make sure that we have our monitors out here. We can see the replays just like you can back in your living room, and we can follow what's on the screen. This is Francisco Pena down on strikes, just called up. Eric Kratz went on the disabled list with a foot injury, plantar fasciitis. So Pena called up, and now Orlando Calixte is going to get an at-bat. So it's been a lot of fun up here. The game hasn't been very fun.
No.
The Indians winning 10-3, but everyone going out of their way to make us as comfortable here as we are in our broadcast booth.
Yeah, I'd like to thank all the great food, the chefs, for preparing some food for us to show us off the cuisine they have here. It's wonderful.
I'd like to thank the food also.
Yeah, I want to thank the food. It's wonderful.
Calixte hits it well to right field, and that is that. The Cleveland Indians have evened the series at 1 game apiece. A team that has mostly struggled this year on offense, and when they allow 3 or more runs, that has not been a good thing for them this year for the most part, but it is tonight because they score 10. We'll be right back.